We're in big trouble. I debated on making this video. I've been having a panic attack for the last hour. It's not good. But you know what? I got my start here on TikTok as a prepper, and I want to inform you guys of what I know. I want you guys to look at this chart. This is the sea surface temperature in the North Atlantic, and these are the average temperatures between 1991 and 2020. What you're seeing here is exponential increase in ocean temperatures. So much so that the man who made this chart, Elliot Jacobson, right here, he has for the last week had to increase the line here on this graph because it is literally off the charts. See, here he is 4 days ago talking about having to increase it, and he just had to increase it again today. Here's another example from 4 days ago, so please remember that this is higher today. If you are still with me here, let me explain. The Atlantic posted today, climate collapse could happen fast. Because right now we are experiencing the hottest temperatures ever recorded. This is why that chart is so devastating. I'm going to explain this with a visual aid. Heat is energy, and our ocean works as a sponge to absorb that heat. And so even through the years, as we've been adding massive heat to our oceans, we have not felt the effects of it because it has been absorbing it. Now let's get our sponge soaking wet. So now, if it's absorbed all that it can hold, what happens is it cannot hold anymore. And so what happens is we see an exponential rise. Jacobson, who made the chart, says that what makes the graph remarkable is the magnitude of the jump from anything that's happened before. It just flies off the page. And climate scientists are having trouble predicting what comes next because they weren't expecting something like this for many years. Immediate threats mean hurricanes, massive ones like we've never seen before, especially in the east coast of the United States. We're in an El Nino year, and normally we have wind shear that prevents hurricanes from hitting the coast, but the hotter the ocean is, the more likely that wind shear no longer matters, and it's the hottest it's ever been. In the long term, it's the death of ocean life, an equally exponential rise in surface temperatures very soon, a blue ocean event where there is no longer any ice in the Arctic at all, the collapse of the jet stream, global breadbasket failures, global wet bulb unsurvivable temperatures. Jacobson says it's humanity's equivalent of hospice care, an existential threat to everything we know. And we still have 5 to 6 weeks left until we hit the temperature peak of this season. And 2024 is supposed to be hotter. This is the scene in the Titanic where they have hit the iceberg. And if this video hasn't scared you enough, do a little homework. Go see what the scientific community is saying. And Google crops and look at the news.
I got the ops going crazy.
The Abigail Project might be one of the reasons why Area 51 is so heavily guarded. There's a secret inside of Area 51 called the Abigail Project. It's the most extreme human experiment ever conducted. The story was leaked by a former cleaner who worked at the site in question. The cleaner agreed to reveal this story at the cost of his own life because he was unable to continue carrying the heavy burden of keeping this secret. Back in 1945, after World War II, Area 51 was a top-secret facility named Indian Springs Air Force Auxiliary Camp. It housed advanced weapons and eventually became a hub for terrifying biological experiments. Driven by the desire to create a super soldier, scientist Dr. Western began conducting a very dangerous experiment. Dr. Western desired a kind of Captain America, extremely strong and robust, whose wounds healed quickly and could withstand extreme fatigue, harsh conditions, and very long periods without eating or drinking. But Dr. Western needed a volunteer. The first option was vagrants or prisoners, but Western needed a completely healthy individual with excellent physical and moral condition. So after some thought, he made a decision. With no volunteers, Dr. Western made a horrifying decision. He chose his own daughter Abigail to be the subject of the experiment. Abigail underwent gruesome surgeries, implants, and substance tests. She was mutilated, drugged, and exposed to torture. Abigail's appearance had changed drastically. Her bones became massive, but the skin had stretched a lot too, so that it looked wrinkled on her elongated limbs. Her teeth started to grow really big, and her behavior became more animalistic and less rational. Many of Dr. Western's colleagues urged him to stop the Abigail Project. He was too stubborn and the damage was irrecoverable. Dr. Western knew that if they ended the project, Abigail would definitely die, since her disfigured body now depended on technology and conditions that were in the base to survive. Some of the cooks that were employed at Area 51 revealed to the man who leaked the story originally that they were ordered to prepare huge plates of food that they had to introduce through a slot in a room sealed with a steel door. They never knew for sure what was behind the door, but they knew that there were rumors about a monster that was on the inside. They also said that on several occasions they managed to see Western standing in front of the door crying or talking to this creature. Eventually, Abigail ended up losing what was left of her humanity. The Abigail Project had officially failed and Dr. Western finally realized what a mistake he had made. Dr. Western was so consumed by guilt that he tragically ended his own life. But before he did this, he strongly begged that his daughter not be murdered and that they try to return her to normal or at least leave her alive.
Bless, this is so real. There's actually a term for this. It's called restraint collapse. So that post-school restraint collapse. They've been holding it together all day, processing all of the information. And then they come home and they just finally and just fall to pieces.
My dude, they're not going to let you do this. They have a plan in place already. Earlier this year, Wells Fargo, America's largest mortgage lender, backing out of the mortgage market. They decided they're not doing mortgages anymore. Just some context. Historically, Wells Fargo has dominated the mortgage lending industry with about twice the market share compared to their next largest competitor, JP Morgan Chase. Why are they doing this? What's going on here?
We're going to become a renter nation in this country.
We are going to be a nation of renters.
You look at the millennial base, they've come out, they have high debt in their education, they're putting off marriage. They want to be able to have flexibility in their work where they can just travel. They want a lock and leave environment. They choose not to buy.
Right, it's apparently our choice. We're choosing not to buy. Nothing at all to do with Wall Street buying up entire neighborhoods at a time. Also nothing to do with the fact that Taylor Morrison, one of America's largest home builders, saying that build to rent will comprise of nearly half of its business in the coming years. The plan going forward, instead of lending you money to buy a home, banks like JP Morgan are going to buy and build homes that they have no intention of ever selling to you. Unless we do something right now, we will own nothing.
Motherfucking son of a gun! Motherfucking Ford Ranger! So you may be big and shit, but you ain't no fucking Ford fucking Ranger! Ford Ranger! I know this truck, I ain't no stranger. I know that truck, that's a Ford fucking Ranger! Fucking Ranger! Ford Ranger! Goddamn, working.
When the dude that's never been appreciated crosses paths with the woman that was never loved correctly, you better watch out. Because that right there, that's a true power couple. That is two people that have been to the depths of hell and lifted themselves out. But now, they're not doing it by themselves. They're doing it together. And that right there is a force to be reckoned with. Remember that.
Yet again, somebody steals the charger cable. Let's fix that. First, get rid of this. Get yourself one of these. Open it up. You got a new outlet cover, new charger, new cable, and I actually ordered an additional cable. First, take this off. There we go. Plug my cables into the charger. 1, 2. Plug this in. And this thing has some locks so the cables can't come undone from behind it. And we just put it on. Now let's screw it back in. Boom. Now my cables are locked into place. No one's taking that bad boy anymore. Boom.
You got your goals written down, you got your 22 push-ups, and your dick is harder than a fucking missile, you understand me? Fuck the world, fuck what they're telling you. It's you and me against all these motherfuckers, hand-to-hand combat on a daily, you understand me?
If you want to commit a crime, just call yourself a business. And then call your victims employees. And you can do whatever the fuck you want. At the most, you're going to have to pay a fine. They might go, don't do it again, but then you can just keep doing it. Like, that's what this story reads to me. The Department of Labor just released that they recovered $314,000 in back wages from a nursing agency in Mississippi. See, Prime Care Nursing has 2 offices. One's in Greenville, Mississippi, and one is in Jackson, Mississippi. And what they do is they place nurses at hospitals and doctors' offices and nursing homes, etc. Right? And Prime Care Nursing, they were only paying their employees for 40 hours of work, but their employees were working up to 84 hours in a week. And then Prime Care was refusing to pay them their full wage. Prime Care demanded they work these hours, but refused to actually pay it out. So finally, the Department of Labor got involved. And so now 91 nurses are being repaid $314,000. That works out to over $3,000 per nurse have been stolen by this company, Prime Care Nursing. And their CEO, Emory Oxford, right? Is this guy going to jail? No. Is he going to personally face anything else? No. Because it's an LLC. It's a company. Oh no, the company just did it on its own. And why did this company need money? Was it because COVID hit the nursing sector so badly? Well, I don't know, because Prime Care Nursing received $1 million in PPP loan forgiveness in 2020. So far, Prime Care Nursing and Emory Oxford have gotten $1.3 million in money that they apparently don't need, that does not need to be used for wages, right? $1.3 million. Nobody's going to jail. But if you're in the state of Mississippi and you steal $1,001 worth of stuff from Walmart, you know what you'll get? You'll get a $10,000 fine and 5 years in jail. So $1,001 from Walmart, 5 years in jail. $314,000 from 91 nurses. Well, you're just Emory Oxford, and you're just the good people at Prime Care Nursing.